Welcome to the GLAC Studios oil painting tutorial. I'm Gomati Sivasankaran and we are in class 6 of the Dhairya Lakshmi painting. Yeah, this is one of the 8 forms of Lakshmi avatars that we are celebrating and also learning to paint along. Lakshmi images, Lakshmi, the goddess Lakshmi is known or is renowned for all the positive propensities of life, and Dhairya refers to courage, valor. Yes, so we are celebrating courage and valor, and that's exactly what we are doing here. We have completed, let's do a quick recap of what we have done so far. We have completed layer 1 wash and a layer 2 with sort of colors. Before layer 2, what we did was the planning um, into the idea and execution of that plan on the canvas, and then we used grids, of course, to do that. Then we did the layer 2, which was just like filling in colors, and then we started with building dark versus light, and right now we are in layer 4. We are going to get started with layer 4. Layer 4 is going to add further depth and nuance. When we did the layer 3 itself, you would have guessed that there is some sort of detailing that you should do, and now it's going to be further of detailing also. So that's what we are going to do. Take it slow and steady, and then try to build on more of details and depth. Yes, that's exactly what we are going to do. And let me also just summarize why we do it. You could see, I think there are so many tutorials. I also find it very interesting when they kickstart with directly, marking. When they do the grids itself, they are also marking where the light and dark has to go through, and do it with that shade as well, and that is pretty much easy and faster. I am breaking this down into pieces like this to build on each layer from the point of view of someone who's never done such a thing before. Also, for those who are thinking, okay, I have accidentally done a flat layer, what do I do? So this is also going to be a tutorial where the focus is on creating layer on layer to tell the story, to give the depth, starting with a flat layer. So that's exactly what we have been doing, and we already saw how the flat layer is slightly converted now, and now we move on to the next stage. The focus will start with the face and body color, skin tones, and also the hair in today's session. Let's jump into that. Before we get started, I just want to quickly say that the colors that I will be using, I think by now you would have guessed the colors. I would prefer to sit with vermilion, yellow ochre, primary yellow, maybe crimson on the lighter tonalities. I also have them here. I'll use fresh ones to show you also when I mix. And for the darker shades, burnt umber and ivory black. Titanium white will also be a part of it, not an integral part though, but will be a part. I will have to mention the importance of using other colors versus depending on titanium white. I think for now, until layer 3, I would have just said, just lighten it up with titanium white, go ahead, do this, lighten it up a bit, and so on. It wouldn't matter because the focus was for us to get rid of our wrong angles, get rid of the grid lines, get rid of many things. So it did help to fully add titanium white wherever we wanted. But now on, the focus is not on covering up what we did, it's on building so what is already here and taking it further. And for that, rely as much as possible on other colors, maybe less on titanium white, because titanium white tends to also mellow down the naturality of the color that you are using. So you could soon find yourself making everything look dull. So it's a very, very tricky color in that manner. So just be careful for layers, the layer that we are doing for now. Yes. So let me quickly fill out colors and let's get started. I need vermilion. I have a bit of primary yellow already with me. This is going to take a little more. Maybe I will need, because of the skin colors, there might be a need of it. Taking a bit more primary yellow. Yellow ochre. Crimson, maybe not too much, but I will have it handy. Ivory black. Burnt umber. Last but not the least, titanium white, which I will be very careful on how I'm using. How much I'm using. Yes. So I think I have got all the colors that I need on my palette. It looks a bit dirty, but the colors are sitting here on the top. So I'm going to start with building the colors. And last time when we build the colors, when we create the colors, what we do? We try to achieve at least 80% of where we want to go, and then moved on. This time we have to move even further than 80%, so it's going to be a little bit of work there. And also remember, there are nice darker shades also, so if you can build a couple of colors already that's on the palette, that is good. Okay, so I'm going to get started with yellow ochre here, primary yellow to add with, tiny bit of crimson, going to rely a little bit on burnt umber to see how I can switch the color into some kind of tonality that could be darker here. Mellowing it down with primary yellow instead of white. Like I said, I'm not trying to take as much white as I would need right away. I want to rely on these colors and see where these colors are taking me. Not really there. Little more of burnt umber to see if I could get the darkest of that. Yeah, I think it is coming there. So I'm going to take yellow ochre again, balancing it. And now I will take a little bit of titanium white to see how I could balance this, because there are other colors that are strongly, you know, crimson, to see if it changes this tonality a bit. It does. Crimson is good, but I need some more of primary yellow. I can see that I will need primary yellow. So I have a couple of tonalities ready, but none of them aren't exactly what I want or close to what I want. So I'm going to strive for it again with a little more of primary yellow. So let me go for it. So I'm testing and seeing, you know, how things could change, and I'm trying not to rely too much on titanium white as yet. It's a thicker version of what I see in the color there, so I'm getting there, trying to take a bit of titanium white to lighten it up a bit. Notch, I guess this works a little more. So I have now created 3 different tonalities. If you look at the range here, 1, 2 and 3, they're close to each other. This one is stronger, this is the lightest, and this one is kind of closer to what I would want, I think, yeah. And I think it is almost what I had done previously. So I'm also putting them on there and seeing how that goes. I am sure I would need more of primary yellow to, not white. So I'm going to take a little more of primary yellow. I want about 2 to 3 variations, and I think I have them ready. Yeah. So I'm going to go for this primary yellow to be added here. So that's a lot of primary yellow that I added to get to this brighter tonality. Yes. Kind of convinced with what I have now, and I will build on with this to the next step. So the lighter tonality that I have created, that's a little more of primary yellow here. It's got you know, all the colors that I mixed initially. So it's got the yellow ochre, vermilion, a little bit of crimson as well. So it's got everything, but now the dominant version of the color is primary yellow. A little bit of titanium white definitely did go in there. This one is good. So I'm going to do the lighter shades first, and this time the focus is on only the lighter shade area. And lucky that we have already done a little bit of shading on dark versus light, so we now know the place, don't we? So can we just rely on our previous work and do that? It's a good idea, isn't it? Let's do that. Those spaces, fill that in. Okay, you see a slight difference in the color tonality, and that is helping here. And I've just added a bit in her neck here. I'm going to go ahead and fill in these lighter colors in few other sections as well. Where else can we do this? Yeah, the hands. And we have also done a homework on that. We have done shading on the spaces where there should be light. So can we rely on that and do it? If we have made a mistake before, then this is the time to correct as well. If not, let's proceed. Yeah, light versus dark, those. So it could look like we are actually repeating what we did in the previous layer, but this time the color is slightly more, brighter, maybe a little more closer to what we have here. Cool. So I have placed the lighter tonalities. Now for the slightly darker one, I'm going to rely on this, and I will mix a little bit of the lighter color if I need to, wherever. I'm going to go with this darker tonality and start filling it out in those sections. Okay. Yes. Underneath her eye, the angles where the nostrils are, underneath the eyebrow, the eyelashes, underneath the chin. Yes. Cool. Do we start doing the same on the hands as well? Yes. We'll do the blending in a short while once we have a little more of details. I'm doing the arms first with that darker color. If you need a smaller brush to switch to for the fingers, you can. Otherwise, this is fine to work with. I am just relying on my flat brush. This is brush number 1 flat. That's what I've been using since the start of this class. I'm just filling out these sections as well. So also remember the shadow or the spacing because of the bangles and such. Yeah. Cool. I guess we have managed to fill in the colors. So it's time for us to work on some details and then start blending things over. Okay, so I'm going to now start working on her eye, the iris and also her eyelashes as well. So moving on to another brush, which will be a micro brush or a zero brush, whatever you call it, is the brush that has got only few tiny bristles. Yeah, I think I have a thin one here. I'm gonna rely on that. I'm just looking out for the best if I have another option. There is one though, but this one isn't helpful here. This is better. Yes, I've found a nice one. So I keep all my old brushes washed and ready, so I could just feel it and say, okay, this one is good for me now. So I think this one is the darker color, isn't it? So what do? Do we take burnt umber and mix it with a little bit of ivory black? So we get a color that is in between black and this burnt umber. So it looks very dark, but it isn't so dark as well. So let's get started with that eye. I'm placing myself as close as possible to the image so I could check on and work. So that is the darker tone going there, and her eyelid coming up nicely. So I'm just using the tip of my brush to go over. Okay. Wow, that's her eye coming up here. Let's do this eyeball as well, and yes. Yeah. Looks cool. And now I'm just looking at if it needs any other detailing here with the eye. No, not exactly with the eye itself. I'm not going to do the eyelashes today, leaving it for the upcoming layer, which is layer 5. I'm going to use this darker color to fill in that nostril space. That's sort of helpful here. I'm going to do that, and then also kind of sharpening that space here, giving the stroke on the cheek, the cheek line here. All these can be blended in a short while. Yeah. So we'll blend it in a short while. So I'm just trying to give those darker shades, and also do the cheek line once. Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. So let's work on the eyebrow and then move on to the hair as such. Yes, we haven't done that at all, isn't it? All these while. We just left some space. We haven't worked on the details, but we are going to do that. With the eyebrow, just be careful. I'm just going to put dots instead of drawing the eyebrow. So it's just the, what do you call, it's hair. So I don't want it to have a thick, what do you call, line there. So I'm just giving suggestive, tiny dots, representing her eyebrow. Yes. That's it. That's one eyebrow there. Okay, let's do the other one. Same way, I'm using that tip of my brush. Yeah. I guess that is done. Now we start working on the hair as such, and for that I'm just going to bring it down so I can see a bit more of it. Cool. And here we have the darker color already with us. So let's start working on each and every plait here that is visible. Before I do that, I just want to do the ear as well. So I kind of, so, and here it has to be the hair covering the ears. The size of the ear is also, let's work on the hair detailing. So it's a plait. So we'll have to create the plait effect. We cannot rely on one color here, we know that. What is it? So we'll have to take the lighter, that darker skin tone that we created to build some images in between to give it a feel that it is a it's a plait. So we're going to do that. Yes. So have that also handy, and let's go back to the darker color. Ivory black mixed with burnt umber, to go over and do this plait one more time. And this one apparently starts here and it goes all the way . Okay, I'm getting started with the one on the outer side here, outer peripheral here. So I'm creating slight curves to suggestively show that it's, the plaited hair here. First with the black, and then I will go on into the detailing. Yeah. Remember, we did less because we were doing on the background and such. And this time we will have to work a little more and create more of those plaits. So there's another shade that has to go along with this to give the impact of that plait. This one looks done. We need another here, another here. Just create some slight curves there in the outer side first, and then we can work on the details inside for later. Yeah. Yes. So a couple of strands, hair locks, or what do we call plaits? Yeah. I think this plait goes down a little. Let's have one more. Now that we have some kind of shape, we need a little bit of angle, also some shades going there, and before that we need to start building on the forehead, the baby hair. Yes, because we had to leave it. So I'm using the ivory black and I'm just blending it a little bit here to, and not blending, I'm just punching the shade here to kind of create the idea that there is hair here, and bringing the size of the forehead also slightly down, so the face now looks more into it, more into yeah. Okay, so that is kind of the hair done. We need another shade in the hair, like I said, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop in a bit of this color tonality to give some variation that it is like a hair that is plaited and such. So it doesn't look totally black. It's got that light catching in every single plait. That is exactly what happens there. So it's a minor detail, but it makes all the difference to just punch in those small little shades there. Yeah, that is done. I'm now ready for blending in shades. Shall we get started with the blending now on the face and see if we could add more texture there? So I'm just going to take a fresh brush just for the sake of having it clean. I am having a zero brush that is clean to start blending the colors in the zones. If I need to take a little more of the darker tonality, I want to use that here. So I'm working on the forehead now. At least at this point I see the need to add a bit of titanium white in that area right in the middle. I can do the same thing here on the nostrils and the cheek, but I don't want too much of it, so I'm just taking the same in the, in a zero brush, tiny bit, and blending it right there. Blending in those zones. The cheeks come up, lighten up. Okay. We have darker shades here, so just using it effectively to blend in. Those zones of shades. Okay. Using those tonalities also on her nostril. All right. Now I'm starting to blend a little more. So just tell me how things are going with you. Take it slow and steady, one at a time. We'll come back to detailing also in a short while, because it's a balance of detailing versus creating this. So the blending will have helped you in showing some important structures there, and you will still see that something needs to be added, which means we need to do a balance of detailing as well. We haven't touched on the lip, so do not worry about that, we'll get there. Let's just work on this section first. Want to be going bold a little bit with the ivory black, and want to go around darkening the section under the chin. Yeah. Look how different she is now. Yes. I guess we have kind of detailing going right now. We have a little more work to do here on the hair to dab so we are dabbing, we are not painting her hair, because the way the hair is also built. Okay, so now for some more detailing, I'm going back to my zero brush, the micro brush, and I'm going to start doing some more of the detailing, mixing the burnt umber with the ivory black. So let's go over what is the thin line that is there, that is helping us define her eyelid. Let's get that done now. There you go. That's one here. And it will blend a little bit with what we have if it is wet, yes. And it will help so it doesn't look totally dark. If you want to make it dark, you can. Right. So that's how it looks, and let's do a tiny bit of darkening up here underneath the eye. Blending in that darker tonality there. Yes. Those shades go there nicely, yeah? Cool. So, look how her appearance shifts the moment we have added all these things, isn't it? So, okay, I'm going to wipe off my zero brush. Because it's got too much of black and I need less of it. To go ahead and establish some connection here underneath her lips. And that, we need to work on the lip also to now how do we work on her lip? We did create a color here. We added crimson, isn't it? So there is one tonality that we haven't touched. That's a good one to work with. Let's do that. Yeah. Let's get started, and we have luckily done a very good establishment of contours with her lips. So let's fill that in first and then we'll do the corrections wherever needed. So now for a bit of this darker tonality to go, but before that I'm quickly picking up a bit of ivory black, burnt umber, to touch base on that corners that are darker. Yes, that's enough, and I'm just gonna tweak in a bit of darker tonality here. To play around. You can also take a bit of crimson if you want. We can mix directly on the shade. So what happens is that it gets darkened up. And at the same time it still holds the structure or the look of a lip there, yeah. That looks fine, but I think there is a position adjustment that I'll have to do. I need a little bit of white to touch base because the angle is got smudged a bit. Yeah, that was supposed to be the right angle. So I've got it. I'm adding that white to lighten up the underlip here because that's where it's taking the shine, it's taking the light. You see that? So I do that. So once we have established those angles correctly, yeah, can we continue drawing those lip lines nicely? We can rely on burnt umber to do the job now also, because it's the corner of the lip. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Right there. And this. Okay. How is she looking there? What is she missing? She's missing some glow here in some of the angles. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of titanium white to throw that light there and blend it immediately. What else here? Tiny bit. A tinge of primary yellow also could help. I'll do that. Why not? To give a highlight there. Yes. Just set a warm tone there. Light there. Gonna blend that in again. I need that small little brush that is clean. Where is it? Yes. A zero brush again to go ahead and blend things here. Okay. I think she is looking cold. She is having that good angle here, and I'm just missing a bit of shading in this zone. And there you go. I think I am kind of convinced with the face structure now, the smile that she's got. I just need a bit of tweaking in of this lighter shade on her chin. That's, catching light there. Yeah? It's just a minor thing, but it is showing nicely. So I just want to do that. I guess the face is kind of done. Now we need to work on the hands as well in the same way. Let's do that. We will go over one more level of or layer of detailing with the face and the details of the shades and such one more time. We will do that in our layer 5. If we can do as much as we can here, that's fine. If not, let's just try to do that in the next layer. Let's do tiny tweaking in here, and then I am ready to move on to her hands. What is missing here is a streak of this glow. I'm adding titanium white, but I'm just being careful to blend it right away so it doesn't look totally off all the time. So I'm blending that right away in that section so the cheek angle comes out right. Bit of darker shade here. Okay, I guess this is fine now. Let's move on to the hands. We have done the contours of that hand in our previous section, isn't it? Can we take burnt umber, ivory black, mix it and have that very dark tonality ready to do the contours quickly? We have the picture also with us if you need a reference, but I think I am fine with what I have here. I'm going to just go ahead and do the contours and then start blending things in. Yes. So I've got the thumb. This time I think I will also move the canvas slightly up. Going over the contours really quick. If you are still confused about the contours, what we did in our previous session, you can always go back to what we did in our previous session or refer to the images. What we are trying to do is to show those fingers. We are not blending in colors yet. We will do that in a short while, but at this time the focus is on doing the contours. Also remember that we had the sword here, so that is kind of obstructing the contour of this hand that I'm working on right here. So we only see a part of that and not the entire hand as such. So I'm just leaving it out here, making a strong mark so that I can see clearly, and you also could see possibly here. Yeah. Remember, with the contours we are going to do something about the contours. We are going to blend them in also, so be aware of it. You can blend it in with the help of the same smaller brush that you are using, or use another brush also to blend in. Yes. I'm just checking how the angles of the hands are going. What is here? Oh, the sword's base. Okay, it's confusing at this point, but soon we will resolve that conflict also. So that's the purpose of our layer 4, that we do things in a way that it is much more clearer here. I've given her long hands and long fingers and so on, so I think it could be the way you see it also in the picture. That is the reference that we have of the woman's image. It isn't that long, but I have deliberately done it here, keeping in mind the construction of this image here of this child. She is a child, but her features are slightly longer, you could see. So she is possibly a kid that is taller for her age, maybe. Yeah, at least I could sense that from the face structure or such, so I have tried to imagine in such a manner and do it. going for the fingers here. This time I will have to push it slightly away so you could see better. Yeah. Okay, this hand needs slight bit of work or rework, I can see. I'm going to come back to it in a while. Yeah, let me do this. Contouring is easy provided we are sure of the contours. Yeah. So at this stage, most of our errors must be, rectified, or it's better. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that, we should not have any corrections going ahead. Should you think that there is a reason why we need to adjust something, I think it must be done. Like here, I can see the prospect of adjusting it even further. This hand needs to be a bit more bigger. I think we can adjust it. Yeah. Done with the contours, almost there, and then we are ready to do the detailing, blending in colors and working on the hands as well. So I guess it is right there. Yes. Okay, so let's start blending in. I have the brush that I used to blend in, wiping it off. So we're ready to get started with the blending business. Blend the arms first for good practice. Once you are feeling a little comfortable to move on to the next stages, then we'll work on the fingers and such zones. So when I blend, I'll make sure that the shades are going out nicely into the So I think this side, the arms are blended in. That side, let's do that. Cool. Nearly there with the arms. Now we work on the fingers, yeah? So for the fingers, let's switch into the smaller brush, the micro brush or 000 brush, whatever you call it. For me, it's all other store-bought brands, so it's all mostly mix of these. Blending this in nicely, ever so nicely. I knew this hand will be trouble because, yeah, so this is where I correct the mistakes. Let's make it slightly bigger here. Yeah, see, it's always possible to adjust the provided we are seeing it through the right time, yeah. So I'm leaving light in the when you're holding something like this, so I'm leaving light here and then I'm darkening this section right behind. So that's what I'm doing with respect to the fingers, where I see, okay, that's the possibility where the shade could be. I'm trying to do it like that, shading it accordingly. Yeah, this one needs adjustment, I can tell. Something doesn't fit in with this hand. I'm just going to proceed with the others and come back again to that. I'm adding a tiny bit of titanium white in the centroid of these two hands where the light could be, and also on some sections where the light could fall on the arms as well, and I will blend them in shortly. Yeah, do you see how it goes? So those are strokes I'm directly putting, but look at the brush that I'm using. It's a micro brush and I'm not taking too much of the color, so white doesn't dominate. Like I said, it will really tone things down into something that you wouldn't want. So be careful with this. I'm boldly doing it because I can see through and I want to show the light the way we did in the nostrils. Yes. So there you go. I think the hands are done. I have one error to fix in my in the Good. I have one more section to fix in my one of the hands. I'm not convinced with the way it is, so I'm just going to rework on it a bit and then I'm done. Okay, I think I've got the hint of what went wrong and how I could fix. It's just a bit of mess here, that happens. All right, I can see the hand is kind of fixed, but the thing is it's too much color there, so to knock it off I'm going to add white in the section that is not needed, and then we will use that space when we fill out the lotus flower, because that's definitely not the space that we need. So that is so I'm just filling out a little bit of white here to show the correction, so that next time when we work on the rest of the section, her clothing maybe, and the lotus flower maybe, somehow we could fix things better. So that's done. I guess I am convinced with the work here. This is a little too dark. Let me lighten it up. Not taking white all the time. The skin color, I'm trying to use it. Cool. So do we say that we are kind of done with our layer 4 for the face and body color? We will meet up in the next session where the focus will be on the other elements, what she is wearing, the clothing and the lotus flower and such, except for the jewelry. We'll take that in another session as well. So we'll have 2 more sessions to work on layer 4. So that's how she looks today. Until we meet in the next class, stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy, stay motivated. Let's meet up. Bye-bye.